What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to another Stacker Gaming video. This is race number 2 here at Macau. We're back in the M3, but we've got a change of liveries. We're starting at the back of the grid as the AI moves to the right. It's really weird AI implementation. I don't know what you want to call it. That Z4 goes crashing into the wall, and so we're going to run up the Ferrari. Already up into third place, backing off, giving him some room, but he does tap the wall. So we're going to chase down the duo of McLarens. The 650 GT3 following its older cousin, the 12C. You know, that's one thing I've never really gotten, is like, we call cars like predecessors, cousins, dad, grandfather. I don't know if it makes sense. I mean, I know we call inanimate objects like her and stuff, but we gotta keep it consistent somewhere. Are they sisters, cousins, grandfathers? I don't know. Anyway, we're still in third. We're trying to cruise behind the McLaren, trying to survive the first lap. We've already got one driver retired. And I really love this livery for the M3. This Osaka Racing. It's beautiful. So we're just kind of coasting the car, trying to stay with him because there's not too much room to pass except for on the main straights. So we just got to stick to him and then get as much momentum as we can through the straights, and that's when we'll do our overtaking. Almost clipping the wall there. Purple 12C has a really weird livery. That point makes it look like a Koenigsegg or something. Some of you won't see that and you'll be like, what are you talking about? But it was Osaki. So as we come down towards the hairpin here, get some wheel spin up out of there as we chase down the McLarens. So for this race, following the last one, I aimed not to crash again, not damaging the car anywhere. I wanted a perfect race, but surprise, surprise, it didn't really happen. As I said in the last video, I sort of, after I finished the race, that I realized that tire wear is what was killing me, which was why I was always crashing around the 4th or 5th lap every time I tried this. It took me quite a while to get these two gameplays. As we pass the 650 GT3 up the inside, and it looks like we're going to hold a take, but are we going to be able to defend it going into the third corner? The first real corner, essentially, as we head into our braking zone. Braking quite early, not quite early, but we're engine braking a lot there, really trying to solidify that corner. We can sacrifice the engine for one corner. But yeah, this gameplay did take me longer than usual to get. I learned my braking points pretty quickly, and like all where I needed to brake, where I need to like half throttle and everything, but I always forgot towards the end that there was tire wear. And I was always losing, like, I would just slide a little bit more, like, I just wouldn't corner as sharply. It was not like, I was just, like, losing grip, but I wouldn't, like, really feel it. I was, like, always around this section, and so I'd slide into the wall and tap it, and I always get really pissed, and I'd have to restart. I got super frustrated, but I finally went through it. That's my fault. I gotta be more aware of that next time, but live and learn. That's why we race simulators. That's why we do this. Trying to catch up to the McLaren in first place still as we come out of that corner. It's basically just us three at the front. Then we got 4, 5, 6 a couple seconds back, and then giant gap to 7th and 8th, and pretty much half the field is retired. As always, I'm always running a close to stock setup. I change probably the camber a couple degrees, maybe the toe in, and then maybe gears depending on the circuit. But this one was, I'm pretty sure I left it the same because it's a lot of accelerations, and for some reason the AI doesn't go through the pit the proper way. It just teleports in. So there's like a bunch of track before the actual pit lane starts, between like the pit entry and the actual pits. But when I took the pit, you know, just to test it out in my own races, I had to go through it all. But the AI, nope, just teleports through. But it creates an interesting race here. So we inherit the first place, the leading position. Start our run up towards the city. Just kidding, I made that up. I don't really know where we're going, but towards the buildings. I love driving through here. It's so cool. Just driving between all the buildings and all the trees and the climbing and elevation and then the drop. It's like Chinese Monaco. I mean, sorta. I mean, Macau's a cool place anyway. I love that corner too. Just getting close to the castle wall kind of reminds me of the new Azerbaijan track for Formula 1. But even though the Azerbaijan was just made this year, but I don't know. It's just a cool corner. Getting close to the wall and then coming out next to the barrier, and then this chute almost like a reverse Watkins Glen. Gotta get on the brakes early there. That corner took me so long to learn. I'd always braked way too late. Broke way too late. Braked, I don't know. Great job. Valedictorian of high school and still doesn't even know what the proper word to use there is. What the proper word is to use there. God, I can't talk. Lots of engine braking. Really trying to make sure I didn't hit the wall there. I try not to engine brake too much, but in some cases you gotta save the car, even if that means sacrificing the engine a little bit. The 650 is starting to catch up as my tires are starting to give up around here. I can see him in my rear view mirrors, and right here I brake really early just due to my tire strategy and my tire wear and my car setup. He usually catches up around there, the AI does, but then around this portion of the track I can kind of pull away. I can take it flat out, but for some reason the AI cannot. But it's kind of cool because it makes for an interesting race, and it makes it like more interesting to defend, I guess. You can see here he was out of the frame for a couple of seconds. And about now I'm looking for my braking point at that third windowsill in that plaza on that building with the balcony. It kept changing when I started to race this circuit or this track. I did it where the plaza starts. I don't know if you can actually know what I'm talking about, but like I eventually realized I can brake later and later, and it turned out better and better. This track is basically, if you're struggling with it as I did, it's basically just a lot of corners that you just have to be able to link together at like half throttle. Obviously that's just like a generalization, but it's a lot of sweeping corners. Just try to extend the corners as much as you can and brake early, and you'll slowly learn the line. I can go through the braking points, but I feel like no one wants to hear that. But once you do know where your braking points are, you just gotta look for them and just consistently hit them, and then you'll be fine. Just gotta watch out for or for tire wear, sorry. I chose the super soft, so my degradation was a lot faster than my opponent's, which was why I was always so frustrated. I was like, I know my braking points, I keep hitting them, why am I hitting the wall? Why do I keep sliding to the wall? But so far I'm running a clean race. I don't think I've touched anything, although I've locked up the tires a few times. And finding that apex is so hard. on a single monitor setup. You can't see it, you can't look right. I don't have a button behind it to look right, just because it's too cumbersome and I get distracted with things like that. But you kind of have to just know your line and trust your line and just hit it. As we head towards the start-finish straight. I switched the TV cam to follow the 12C because this is where the race starts to get interesting. You can see me around the first corner there of the circuit as the 650 pulls out of the track, out of the pit, sorry, and rejoins the track. I'm about a full straight ahead, and there's the 12C, its brother, well, if I'm keeping the same analogy as before, its cousin, and they're going to start racing for the second and third position as I'm comfortably up ahead. And I figured it'd be more interesting to watch them battle it out than me in the lead, because you can see me on the point of view cam anyway, on the cockpit camera, the helmet camera. I'm hoping you really like this format. Not that I forgot, but I need to move the pedal leader to the left side so you can see that for the next recording, for the next race. But for this one, you just get the track map. Sorry about that. So right now I'm starting to get into conservative mode. I had the track map up while racing. The cockpit helmet cam is a recording of me live. So I could see how far away they were behind me. So I started to start coasting a little bit more. Almost sliding to the wall there. A little precursor, a little foreshadowing of something to come. You can see the McLarens working on each other. Not quite racing yet though, not quite having to defend that 650. About 5 seconds behind me. Locking up the right and front left tire. The front right, front left tire. And I'm starting to get nervous. I'm just like, is this the race? Could this be the one where I don't hit anything? I'm like, oh no, hit the barrier. Locking up the tires, which definitely does not help for the longevity. But the McLarens are catching up. My tires are starting to die. They have both pitted at one point, I think. Which actually is a pretty decent strategy. I think it would have been much more beneficial had I pitted, although they do just get to teleport the pits. They don't go straight, as you could have seen there on the main camera, into the pits and then get into the pit lane. They just teleport straight to the pit lane instead to the pit entry. And the white flag signaling the last lap as the McLaren rounds that first corner, and you can definitely see some separation there. I don't know what happened to the 12C. I wasn't really watching. I just forgot what happened. But that 12C has fallen really far behind, and that 650 is steadily coming up as we go into the braking area. Engine braking down that third gear. Not too good. I need to improve on that. But my braking is generally pretty good. I would say that's my strong suit. I can outbrake most things, although I am not racing without any assists. I do have some assists. I have the pro level settings. So I figured I wouldn't handicap myself more if I still got things to improve on. Not gonna make it harder for me than what it actually is. But he's starting to catch up, and I'm starting to feel the pressure. And just about now, I screw up and I slide into the wall. But so does him. So does he. Jesus, what am I saying? McLaren slides into the wall too. We're both pushing ourselves. He's trying to catch me. I'm trying to defend and pull away. I don't want to have to defend. But I'm sorry. I lose it into that corner. Barely avoiding the wall tap there. And it's going to take all that I have to defend the victory through the final final dozen or so corners. Half a dozen, I'll say half a dozen, 6 corners. As he comes down to the hairpin, he's looking at the outside. I'm going to the middle to make sure he cannot come through. I pay for it, but I've got some separation. And at this point, my pit garage, if this is your life, must be like, get that victory, because your car is probably gonna cost like $10,000 in damages or something like that. We're getting, actually I didn't get as close to the wall as I thought I did, but I'm moving to the inside here to defend the position down as we go into the first corner. He's going towards the inside, he's going back. He gives me a little tap as I brake way too early because my tires were just shot, and I realized it at that point somewhat. We're gonna take the victory, as we didn't really block him. I definitely had the inside line there. He just also dove further inside. But that's this race at Macau. Macau's a great circuit. It's a great track. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed that, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, because I definitely did. And as always, have a nice rest of your day. This has been Maximilian, signing off.